We are live. Let's see it jump up on Facebook. Let's just make sure. Yep, we are live. Let's see it jump up on Facebook. Let's just make sure. Yep, we are live.
After I graduated college, in the process of looking for work, I said to myself, wait a minute, I learned everything that ESPN is doing. I was on air, I know how to edit. After I graduated college, in the process of looking for work, I said to
Ladies
myself,
and gentlemen, we are the Fan Zone. And I want to first address something from last week. And that was a bet that I lost. And I rocked the Nets in the background, but I didn't honor my bet. So for Manny, I am honoring my bet.
Oh, there it is.
I am honoring my bet. I am rocking Nets gear. Trust me, this will be in a bonfire outside my house after tonight.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Is that a playoff shirt from last year? You borrowed that from Ruben.
Ruben actually gave it to me.
No.
Gave it to me.
We don't do
Shout out to Ruben.
The bet, first off, Ruben, you the man. I appreciate you, homie. But sir, the bet was to purchase. You were supposed to buy. Unless you gave Ruben $5, it does not count. And you must wear a shirt that you purchased. I gave him a bottle
of gold Bacardi. That's a different
story. That is a lie. I need the receipt for that.
We'll find out. We'll get Ruben on the show and we'll talk.
I need receipts, Mike.
All right. Sounds good. You'll get receipts. Now, besides dealing with all of our bets, there's been some hot talk, some spicy talk on the
talking about, Mike?
Streets recently.
Ooh, okay.
And on Smoke and Mirrors, they drew the line. And I don't know about you, Manny, but I'm ready to cross a line. And that line I'm crossing is to you, EP Carl Coulange.
Ooh, getting canceled. It's over. Come on, Mike.
You want to get canceled? Well, here it is. The versatility is the new age. Our versatility as a show is like Smoke and Mirrors. You see, we're the one show they didn't come after when they spoke about the posers. That's right, I'm talking to you, Travis McKay. Because at the end of the day, we are not a one-trick pony.
Talk to him, Mike.
Everything. We talk everything here on the Fan Zone. For the fans, by the fans. We're not just fans of basketball. Nuh-uh. We're not just fans of football. Nuh-uh. We fans of football. We are fans of baseball. We are fans of hockey. But you, sir, think the only ratings are in basketball and football. And then to the summation of your clapback to Smoke and Mirrors is you photoshopped your face on Ty Diggs' body? Who gave that man some muscles? Because they ain't yours.
Get your weight up, EP. Get your weight up, EP. Stop it. You wasn't in the gym.
Stop it. You trying to show us that you think you got muscles with a Bel Air shirt on? Stop it. So you change your show to On the Court now, wherever? Okay, that's fine. At least you are understanding you are a one-trick pony. But do not come for those shows that are getting the views, to those shows that are getting the ratings. The people come out because they want to see what we have to say about all sports. As Bill Cosby once said, the proof is in the pudding. Because if you look at our views, if you look at our ratings, we can't be touched.
Yep. Wait, hold on, Mike. isn't this the sports hit list for the fans, by the fans, for the fans? Are we
But
the
what do
fan
fans
zone?
want to see? But what do fans want to see? So I'm
basketball?
calling out our EP. You see up behind us? We are both in the Coliseum.
You're outside.
You
I'm
think
inside though.
you're inside? I'm outside. I'm coming in soon. Don't worry.
Pause. Hey, yo! Free my son Byron.
I'm telling you right now, Carl. You think you not a one-trick pony? That you versatile? The door is always open. Come see us in the Coliseum. We'll see how versatile you really are. Carl Coulange. Sorry, I almost called him Vince McMahon. As we've seen in WWE, and that's right, we talk wrestling too. As we've seen in WWE, creativity is starting to get stale. That's why the younger generation needed to jump in.
We find out Mike brought some adobo here because it's getting spicy. Woo!
I'm telling you right now, Mr. Coulange, the battle lines have been drawn. Embrace versatility or be left behind. And I already know what your comeback's going to be tomorrow. They don't got respect for the EP. I'm the one that got them on. I understand that. And we respect you for that. But hone in on your craft and let us be in front of the camera.
Can I say
to
something?
Continue to let the sports hit list go forward. Manny, what do you got to say?
You just finished some hot fire, but I just got to say, yo, EP, we had no beef. We had no beef with you. And somehow, I had to go under my alter ego, a.k.a. Elijah Muhammad. Shout out to him. But you called us out for no reason. The smoke and mirrors didn't call us out. He was coming at you. And you decided to be like, oh, okay, let's include the fan zone in the crossfire. Well, we here, and we got bulletproof vests, fam. So we ready for the smoke. We're in the Coliseum, as it shows. So I'm here, EP. Pull up.
And
you
Travis,
got the keys.
Travis,
you got the keys.
Travis, there's a reason why you never offered to be on any other show but the NFL Live, because that's the only show that'll listen to your outlandish takes. That will be the only show that can deal with your nonsense. But I'm here to tell you, it's all nonsense.
Speaking of Travis, for those who are watching, Peter has created the Sports Hit List Fantasy Football League. And I lost 2 straight weeks. Last week was pure BS. But I lost this week, and yet I still hold the 6th seed. And guess who I play in the first round of the playoffs? Travis. Now, Travis, I messaged you. You ignored me. And I'm telling you right now, if you do not win because you have the supposed pieces and the team to win it all, even though you came down from 0-4, congratulations. It's over. I'm telling you right now, Travis, you don't win this week, I am showing no mercy.
Hold on a second.
You understand?
Hold on. So Travis just jumped into our comments, and I love it. I love it. It shows you're a fan. I'll sign an autograph for you, Travis. Don't worry. We'll sign an autograph. We'll send it out to you. Because you're trying to say you don't even know my name. Well, don't worry. You'll get to know it very quickly. Because I'm going to pull up.
Quit?
I'm going to find a way to pull up on Sunday to the NFL Live show. And I'm going to find a way to make it in there. So I could talk to you face to face, Trav, and let you know that you don't know football like others. You might know the X's and O's, but you don't know what it means to be a fan of the sport. And for you to say that baseball is boring, that nobody likes baseball, well, I'm going to tell you right now, brother, look at the ratings. So I'm going to tell everyone that we just spoke about, as my crew, as our crew, on Mondays and Fridays, and in their title, you were just smoked. Now go look in the mirror. Now, Manny, let's hear what you got to say about them Raiders.
Yo,
I seen a couple posts, people tagging me, you know, where's Manny? He's not watching the game. Even Jarvis hit me up like, yo, you good? And I said, I'm great. Because I wasn't watching the game. The minute the Chiefs scored a touchdown, I'm like, yeah, it's over. But then I found out, and I addressed this, and I told everybody. What I found out was the Raiders before the game, and Yannick Ngannou, I believe, he took the team. They went on the Chiefs logo to like huddle up and like do something in Arizona. And I'm like, in Kansas City, sorry. And I'm like, why are we doing this? What gives us the right to do it? We've lost 2 straight. And now we're playing the team that destroyed us 2 weeks ago prior. So now we're going up against them again at home, at their home. And you really think they're not waking up and they're going to shellac us? We should have got destroyed by 50, if not 100 at this point. Because the only person that shined that entire game on the Raiders was Hunter Renfrow. That kid is special. I love that guy. That guy is the freaking man. I swear to you. And I saw the score. My cousins kept tagging me. My friends kept tagging me. Everybody kept hitting me up. It's like, yo, you good? And I'm like, I'm great because I really don't care. They pissed me off. All right, so breaking news. James Harden and Bruce Brown are the 6th and 7th player to go into COVID protocols. And I'm actually going to the game tonight. So I only get to see KD drop another 50 again. I'm about to suit up. I got my shorts in the back and my kicks. We out. You're going to see me live in the Barclays playing tonight.
You bring up a good point about breaking news. And I know you're talking about the Raiders, but you're bringing up some breaking news. And it's actually become more rampant in all sports. Hockey, we just saw an outbreak where a game was postponed. The Wild game was postponed. And we're going to have our guy, Mike Sparacino, on in a little while to talk some hockey. But we had
the Bulls.
Yeah, the Bulls.
The Chicago Bulls, like about 9 of their players, I believe. So they postponed the next 2 games.
Yeah, Quentin Grimes for the Knicks is in protocol right now.
Didn't Coach Wong say about he said 7 players, but he did it as a joke and said like about 3 players, I believe.
Yeah, he didn't.
He was being honest, like 3 players.
He didn't know if the game would actually be postponed today. I'm actually happy that the game will go on. I'm actually excited to possibly see Steph Curry, one of my favorite players to watch. I'm excited even against my team. It's okay.
He's dropping 40 tonight.
It's okay because you know why? Because he's doing it in the greatest arena.
Here we
go. The greatest
go.
arena, Madison Square Garden.
But you're a Net fan right now, Mike. You're not a Knicks fan right now. You're wearing the gear. Come on, Mike.
Stop yourself. Now, come on. Keep
everybody
going
viewing. Doesn't that shirt look nice on him? I'm telling you, he's a Brooklyn. Peter, Eddie.
Keep going with your bum-ass Raiders. Let's go.
What's that shirt he rocking? But anyways, about the Raiders, honestly, as weird as it sounds, we're 6 and 7 now? We still have a shot at the playoffs. And I'm like, what? How? The Chargers are literally destroying every team in their path while waking up at the right time. That's why I actually can't wait for Thursday because the Chiefs versus the Chargers. And it's going to be one of the best games, hopefully. Hopefully we all, as fans, do not get jerked by some BS where the score ends up being like 10-7 or 13-10. Like, I want a shootout. I want 56-50 or something like that. Like, obviously for fantasy purposes, as you see in my name, it says Manny has survived fantasy football. So in 5 of the leagues that I'm in, I made it in 4 in the playoff. Actually, no, 3. Sorry, I'm 3 out of 5 right now. But we do have a special guest here. Once he pops up, my man Mike.
It's Jesus.
What's going on, brother?
Jesus Cristo.
There we go. What's up?
What's going on, Mike? How you doing?
I'm all right. What's up, Manny?
Oh, I'm doing great. Rangers are freaking killing right now. What?
Damn right.
And have you noticed, Carl, Charlie, the Islander fans, they've been very quiet. Why is that?
Typical Carl and Charlie. Islanders win. They don't shut their mouths. Islanders lose. They know where to be found. Typical.
Well,
we're playing with it.
if I'm not mistaken, they've maybe only gotten one win in their new arena.
Yeah.
So the Rangers were actually the first New York team to win in that new arena. Am I not mistaken with that?
And I was there.
You were.
Oh,
So we're gonna
Oh,
talk
that's
about
perfect.
that in a few minutes. But
That's beautiful.
I know Manny is actually live, broadcasting today. So he's gonna be walking over. He's actually going to the Nets game tonight. So that's why we called you in, Mike. We wanted
Nice.
to be able to talk some hockey. We wanted to get you on. We actually also wanted to let you know that you and Chuck, and whenever Andrew can come on, I know he has a lot of other things, but we would like you and Chuck to be our NHL correspondents for the show. So anytime we talk NHL, you're going to be the two people that we call because
Yeah, but don't forget, we need to hit up a game as well this season.
and we will. But as you
Shout
know,
out to Andrew. Shout out to Andrew because he's been trying to set it up for us.
you know what it is though? I'm sorry, but the tickets are outlandishly priced right now. They are ridiculously priced. Unless we go to an Islander game where it's probably $10 and a free popcorn, I'll go there.
I mean, I know for a fact the only way we can get cheaper tickets at the Rangers game is if they're playing a trash team and it's actually cheaper. It's like last minute, like it's a half hour before the game or something. So
One of those Seat Geeks or something, those type of.
yeah, I mean, look at the tickets I got for the games that I go to usually. Shout out to SeatGeek. You should sponsor us.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to that. So, Mike,
Believe it or not, I actually never get a good deal on SeatGeek. That's just me. Maybe I'm
Really?
checking at all the wrong times.
well, you got to work with Manny there. So Manny, what are you doing? You walking through the hood? Where you walking there right now?
Oh, I love it out here. Some great foods over here. Got some planes flying above me. Probably a chopper coming by in a few. You know how it is. I get followed everywhere I go because EP trying to hunt us down.
Well, listen, he is trying to hunt us down, but he will not be able to cancel us. He don't got the key to the apartment just yet. But listen, with that being said, Manny, we're gonna let you take a walk and we'll get back to you. Mike, talk to us, brother. How's the NHL been so far for you?
I haven't been able to catch much, man. But from what I've seen, I like it. Dude, Trevor Zegras, man. Did you see that assist?
Yes.
I mean, holy crap.
Where he picked the puck up and flipped it?
Hell yeah.
That was amazing. I think he was more shocked at the fact that, holy crap, it actually went in.
Oh, yeah. Every time you've ever seen that, it's either been a straight shot attempt from the guy or it gets batted away by a stick or somebody's hand because they're just like, get the hell out of here. But no, that actually worked.
Yeah, so what do you think so far of the Rangers?
They're playing significantly better now than they were at the very beginning of the season, which is very nice to see.
Why do you think so?
Oh, because they're actually, not playing horrible for half a game. They're actually showing up for majority of every game, at least lately. First 5, 7, 10 games, that was not the case. But it's been much easier to sit through games lately.
Do you think it's been the line changes? Do you think there's been any type of maneuvers by Gallant that has really stepped up their game? Is there more rest for certain players? Like I watch a lot of the games. I'm trying to figure out what it is that has finally clicked for them. Even their power play. And as an avid Ranger fan like myself, when we see the power play, we go, the other team's usually going to score, or we're just going to be wasting 2 minutes of our time.
I actually, after a while, I started to call it the waste of time play, and one of my friends was calling it the bathroom break play.
There you go. And I was the exact same way. Every time they were on the power play, I was like, can we just go back to 5-on-5, please? Like, can we go?
Can we decline it?
Yeah, can we decline it? Because we were doing better on the penalty kill, right? We weren't even. It was insane.
Dude, our penalty kill in general, from, I want to say, I think it was late October, early November through the rest of the season. Very, very good. And remember our penalty kill with Grabner? He would have a breakaway every other team's power play.
Yes.
Fantastic.
He was so fast too. Oh my God.
Yeah. Side note, just great bargain bin signing for what he was with the Rangers.
I miss him.
I do too. But I mean, we did all right without him on the penalty kill, and we're doing all right now. To answer your question from earlier, what's clicked finally, basically. I mean, new coach. It's going to take like 10, 15 games to get used to the system. You need everybody to buy in, which it looks like that's happened. And Gallant's a good coach. So step 1, buy in. Step 2, start playing well. Step 3, start winning. That's what they're doing. So, I mean, I have faith in Gallant right now because, I mean, he's got a proven track record. He's a good coach, and he took Vegas to the Stanley Cup final the first season. That was basically the cherry on top of him proving that he's a good coach. Why Vegas fired him when they did, questionable, but hey, he's ours now. Makes me happy.
So I wanted to jump into a couple of different things. There's been a lot of talk recently of Jacob Trouba's play, right? The way he's been slamming people. It's been a little aggressive to a certain degree, and it's like a freight train. Oh, yeah. So, do you think it's clean? Do you think it's dirty? And I want you to answer that in more of a objective or subjective, hockey fan, right? Do you think the hits that he's making are clean, beautiful hits?
For the most part, yep. I think the only one that's slightly questionable is the one on Kara.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was the only one that was slightly questionable. But other than that, I think his hits have been clean. And like, look, as much as I hate it when, other teams' players hit our guys with a really nice forecheck or nice check, I should say. I mean, do I like it? No. But am I going to argue against a clean hit? Not really. A clean hit is a clean hit, and a good clean hit is a good clean hit. You got to give a person credit for that.
Yeah, because I've watched some of those hits, and obviously you're gonna have people that are haters to the New York Rangers that'll say, "Oh, this is ridiculous. This isn't acceptable," and I think they're regular hits. They're just clean hits. They're open ice hits, and that's something that's missing from the NHL today. I feel like the NHL has gotten into this, protect the players a little too much to the point where they've gotten to the idea that no hit is clean, right? Yeah. And I like the way Trouba has come out defensively, and I like the way that Reeves has been playing as well.
Oh yeah,
as our bruiser. Now I see that we are backed by my co-host Hoodie Manny. He showed that place where the Islanders used to play. Where are you at right now?
At the Barclays, my brother.
You're at the
Barclays
Center.
Mike, today is a joyous day. According to one of my sources, I got great news for Brooklyn fans, but I got very sad news for the entire rest of the league. And I am going to leave it at that. Have a gracious day, everybody, and go Brooklyn. That parade is coming here.
Wait a second. What are you talking about?
Go ahead and think what you think, Mike, because I'm not saying exactly what I'm saying. Y'all gonna have to think about that.
You mean your boy Kyrie finally got his vaccine?
I plead the fifth.
What, your boy got the shot in his butt? What happened here? What's going on here?
First off, have some respect. But I'm gonna leave it at that, Mike. And everybody else watching.
Wow.
My man Mike Sparacino, you the man. Continue with the Rangers talk. Appreciate you hopping on. And Peter, Eric, and Eddie, that chip coming home, baby. Love y'all.
It's still not coming anywhere, but go ahead. All right.
All day, brother.
So
that was a beautiful time to notice that your name on screen was Public Enemy #1.
Oh, I am.
That was a perfect time to realize that.
Listen, if you saw my intro, I've already come at our EP. I've already come at half of the NFL live show. I've come at most people, so that's why I am Public Enemy #1 right now. But so are the Rangers, because people are fearful to play us right now, because we are showing it defensively, we are showing it offensively, and it's everybody is scoring. It's not just one player. It's not just everybody is clicking together. Even our goalies are looking phenomenal. Now, Igor is out still. Have you heard anything about him possibly coming back anytime soon?
I think the only thing I heard, he was going to be out for a few weeks. I think that's about the extent of what I heard.
Okay.
That's all. I haven't really delved too much further into the situation.
So let's go to the other side in the fun game I like to call, what is going on with those Islanders?
This is, as much as I got to say, I thought the Rangers played pretty bad that game. Anytime you walk away with a win playing the Islanders at their home arena, I will gladly take it, no matter how ugly or how bad it was. But, I mean, they were a legitimate, or at least most people thought they were a legitimate Stanley Cup contender going into the season, and for good reason. They got bombarded with COVID on top of injuries, and they were legitimately missing 10 guys at one point. So I'm not going to trash talk too much because I know they were not fully healthy. Gotta keep some good karma on my side.
I hear you. So I will ask you though, do you think that the Rangers won because we were apparently going against a amateur hockey league team because all of their players had COVID and they were sick and everything? Because that's what a lot of people are trying to say right now, aka Chuck, saying that we beat a farm team and it wasn't the real Islanders. Believe it or not, I'm okay with that still because they are an NHL hockey team and it's always the next person up. They made the team, right? So they are worthy of playing in the NHL. So for us to see what's going on, I don't get it.
I mean, well, to answer this as fairly as possible, I mean, the Islanders were literally missing, I think in that particular game, I think they were missing 9 guys and somebody else either got hurt or got COVID the next day or something. So after sitting in the arena during the course of that game, I think if the Islanders were fully 100% healthy for that game, or at least all the guys that were missing because of COVID protocol were in the lineup, with the way the Rangers played that game, they probably would have lost. But like I said, I'm a Rangers fan and we beat the Islanders at their home arena. I mean, I'm going to celebrate internally. I'm not going to trash talk, but a win is a win. So, yeah, to answer in all fairness, the Rangers probably would have lost that game, but I'll take the win.
So I've actually seen our division, right? And the Devils don't even look that good either.
No. You want to know what's most surprising to me, though, out of the teams not looking good? Philly, man.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought they did a pretty good job in the offseason because they added Yandel, Ristolainen, Atkinson. I know I'm probably missing somebody, but I'm just like, with those additions, and I thought Carter Hart was going to have a bounce back year. I don't know his numbers off the top of my head, but I can't really put all the blame on him without looking into his numbers. But I mean, they're just disappointing. I mean, when does it end? Can you blame AV?
I don't like the blame game on AV, right? I think Alain Vigneault is actually a good coach. I actually thought he was a good coach with the Rangers. He brought us to the playoffs.
The final.
To a final. I think the problem with the Rangers was he had to overplay certain players, and it truly gassed us out. And that's why we had nothing left in that final against the Kings.
Well, I mean, also, you could argue that the Kings were a much heavier team.
Right.
Like in terms of checking wise and being a tougher team. That's the one thing I'll actually give to the Kings, because you don't beat Chicago in Game 7 overtime in Chicago.
No.
As much as the game-winning goal I thought was kind of lucky. It's like you don't beat Chicago in the playoffs in their basically at the end of their peak. Actually, no, they won the cup the next year. You don't beat Chicago in their peak in the playoffs by a fluke. That was a legitimately well-built, hardworking team. And as much as it pains me to say it, they did deserve to win the cup that year because they outplayed, outworked, and were just basically the heavier team. And you're right, the Rangers were gassed. And that's basically what cost them.
That was our season of speed, right? We had speed and obviously the king in net. So there was no that when we didn't have the speed because we were gassed, and then the checking from the Kings, they just had our number. And you're right, they deserved to win that cup, even though it also pains me to say something like that.
Yeah, and also you can just look at like individual comparisons. Like they had the better number one center at the time, and at the time. They probably had the better number one defenseman, especially like I think in that series, especially the entire Rangers defense was overwhelmed. But that's beside the point. Okay. Lundqvist, in my opinion, had a very good series, but Quick made the saves when he needed to. We'll forget game one happened. You know what I'm referring to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll forget that happened. But, I mean, just overall, their roster was just very well built. I think the Rangers, I don't think that they were 100% built to win the cup that year, as much as that also pains me to say. But it was a Cinderella run.
So you bring up the Philly, you bring up the Flyers. And
yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to go on a whole tangent.
No, and I appreciate it because listen, we are the fan zone, right? So we talk about memories we have of our team. So you're right on par with what we're talking about because we talked about AV and him being to blame, and remember he coached that team, he coached us through that miracle run, and I don't think he was given enough slack in New York. I think, they didn't give him the players that fit his system. They went for the best player at the time, but not the best player for his system. And I think that always plays a factor within hockey, especially within certain teams and certain divisions. You have to follow the coaching scheme, right? That is the way it works. And I think even in Philly, they didn't really give him the autonomy to bring in certain players. And that ended up causing him certain issues and ultimately his demise, right? But then to put the cherry on the cake, the canine taking a dump on the Flyers symbol the same week that they just fired their coach, lost like last 7, was just the icing on the cake. This was just amazing. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
I got to give it credit that I'm a fan of that dog now.
I am too. Now, I will ask you this. And Manny alluded to it before with certain NBA players that have now COVID, right? And are in COVID protocol. We're now starting to see in the NHL again.
Yep.
It is starting to ramp up again. And I want to ask you, what do you think should the protocols be? Should there be a masking on the bench again, right? Are we blaming it on the fans being in the stadiums? Because there's obviously in the NHL you can't really blame the fans because they're still a certain distance away from the players, right? So I'm trying to figure out how is it becoming rampant again when as a city, as a state, as a country, we've been following certain rules and regulations. So has the NHL become lax? Has certain sports become lax towards the COVID protocols because because they're apparently all vaccinated? Because look at what's going on with the NHL now. What is it? The Wild game is postponed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. I think Calgary's game is postponed too. Calgary is playing Chicago.
Right. So
that
that's
game's postponed.
So that's 4 teams right there, right? And And look at shout outs to Jamal for giving us the inside source that apparently there were certain Knicks that had COVID that they didn't know if they were going to even play that game tonight in the Garden.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they are, but then again, I didn't get a definite number on how many Knicks had tested positive.
I think it was around 3 to 5, but still, I mean, there's no bench.
Oh, I thought it was higher than that.
It was, I think they were.
I mean, that's still not good, but I thought the number was much higher.
Yeah, I mean, but look at the Nets now. Harden and there was Harden and Brown, both are in protocol. So now you only have KD on the starting lineup, right? Out of that 4 or 5. So it's starting to affect us more. So I wanted to ask your opinion, especially in the NHL, because we always talked about. I remember we talked about the whole dome and playing in the same arena and playing in the same location.
Now, see, that was cool for the time, for the time being. That was cool.
Do you think they go back to something like that?
I mean, it's mid-season. I don't think they can.
Right? I don't think so either. Like, I don't think the Islanders, right? Say a team like the Islanders where they had all those cases, they just built that new arena for a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
Right? They put millions of dollars into that arena to then turn around and say you can only play in certain locations, and that's what worries me, because it technically worked then. Are they going to turn around and say that that's the new format, right, going forward? After this season, are they going to turn around and say we're going to redesign the divisions? And again, I'm only talking, out of the side of my mouth as what they could be thinking because of all these games being postponed. Because remember, do these games ever even get? Sorry, that was probably my email. Do these games ever get replayed? If they get postponed, where can they fit them in to be replayed so that every team has the same amount of games? So that's another thing that the NHL commissioner right now is thinking about.
Now,
so trying to figure out.
To answer that side question that you just brought up, there is basically a 2.5, 3 week break in the schedule in February. Is that solely due to the Olympics? And
I think it is, but I think a lot of those players are in the Olympics.
Okay, so they didn't pull out again? Okay.
I don't know. As far as I know, there were certain players that were going, but again, I don't know if they're going to pull them out because of COVID.
True. And what country are the Olympics in this year again?
China, I think.
China. Yeah, that all depends on what China decides to do with international travel and all that. So
that's the other question. And that's where, like, listen, everybody, all the fans that are watching or will be watching even the recording of this, take care of yourself. We are not out of the woods yet. COVID-19 is still there. There's different variants. They're turning into transformers like Omicron, but there's different variants out there that are affecting us. And we're seeing it in what we enjoy to watch, which is sports, right? We're seeing it everywhere. It is still dealing with our livelihood. So please, take care of yourself. Don't become lax because you have the vaccine, because we're already seeing, and I don't want the next thing to be, oh, well, they didn't get their booster. I don't want to hear that. I want to know, why is it that they're all vaccinated, but they're still getting COVID-19? And what are their safety protocols on these teams that are causing this to happen?
Yeah, this is a tough question to answer because, like, everyone's vaccinated, like, there's still an outbreak. I mean, you're not going to basically have a body camera on every player and basically stalk them, because that's just not right. But, like, you don't know 100% of the time where everybody is, who they're coming into contact with, where they were, who might have been at that particular place. There's just so many variables that just trying to map everything out would just drive you nuts. So it's just, it's weird. It's just like they're all vaccinated, still having an outbreak. Nobody knows the real reason why. So I try not to spend too much time thinking about it. I'm just like, all right, it happened. Just whatever you did, take notes, where you were, who you were in contact with, see if there's a crack in the armor somewhere, and just try and not make the same mistake twice, I guess.
No, absolutely. I just I hate to jump on my soapbox about the variants and the boosters and all that. It's worrisome sometimes, because I know we get cases here and there, 1 case, 2 case, but now it's becoming to the point where games are being canceled.
Again.
And that's affecting everybody's livelihood, right? That's affecting the arenas where those players, those staff are working, right? Yep. If they get hazard pay on that, that's on the teams. That if they're not playing, is it affecting their contracts, right? There's all these different ramifications to it. Now, I wanted to jump away from hockey for a second, if that's okay with you. And I know you work a lot of Mets games. At Citi Field. Shout out to Citi Field, the best stadium out there. But I wanted to ask your opinion on some baseball, if you're okay with that.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, no. So it's more on the whole thing, right? So we know that there was major cases in regards to PEDs, right, and steroids, and certain players that were found guilty or were suspected of taking, steroids, and Manny and I both addressed the Hall of Fame ballot, right, when it first came out. And certain players are in their final season of possibly getting into the Hall of Fame. Respectfully, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, just to name a few. But then again, they were also caught in the PED scandal. So I wanted to ask your opinion as a sports fan. Do you look at the PEDs and whether or not they were suspected or guilty of it and automatically never give them an admission into the Hall of Fame? Or do you look past it and look at other accolades of theirs from their entire career and say, okay, that was a blip in their career, but this is what they did overall? And if you were voting as of the end of day, December 31st, do you think Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa will be in the Hall of Fame?
Man, do I think they will be? You said this was the last chance for all 3 of them, right?
Yeah, last year of eligibility.
I'm going to predict no.
Okay.
Because I think if they would have gotten in, they would have been in already. What is it? It's a 5-year window?
It's the 4 to 5. Yeah, it's a 4 to 5.
4 to 5?
4 to 5 year window.
Okay, look, if Barry Bonds, the leading home run hitter of all time, doesn't get in the first 3 or 4 years of voting, that doesn't bode well. If he doesn't get in, that doesn't bode well for McGwire or Sosa either.
Okay, perfect. That follows up my next question to you. Why do you think they have not been accepted into the Hall of Fame yet?
Probably because of the steroid scandals. And we're all 3 of them, because my baseball knowledge is like terrible.
They were all suspected, yeah. They were all a part of it.
Were they all suspected or were they all proven?
There's always the proven and proven, so it's always, there's always proven. So I say yes to that. I know with McGwire, there was, and Sosa, there was that whole, scandal after the home run, race between them. Barry Bonds, same thing. So it's all stated that they are a part of the PED scandal. Roger Clemens a part of that as well. So that's why I bring up the fact of, do we forget about everything else they did because of one certain part of their career? Because remember, for someone like Barry Bonds, the home run leader, did he hit all of those home runs on PEDs?
Probably not.
Exactly. Right? Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. Maybe during that whole home run race where everybody was tuning in, right? You know, the Cubs would be on at 1:00. You know, the Cardinals were on at 5, and they were going back and forth, 66, 67, back and forth. Maybe that year they might have been on it, but what about Mark McGwire's career in Oakland, where he was a Bash brother, right, with Jose Canseco? Is there a possibility he was doing it with Jose Canseco? Because we all know Jose Canseco is a nut, and who knows what he wasn't doing at that time, you know? So, and then Sammy Sosa, you know, I don't know what's up with Sammy Sosa. He's turned himself bleach white now. I don't know what goes on with that. That's personal life, but do we push away from those accolades, right? Like, I think Sammy Sosa, I think he was a good player. And I said this a couple of weeks ago, you know, when the first ballots came out. I don't think he gets it. I think the race really comes down to, who I think should go in. Barry Bonds definitely should go in, because Barry Bonds, most of his career, was not necessarily on any performance enhancing drug. I do see where his body type changed
significantly,
big to, you know, pretty much Triple H, you know, before a wrestling match. You know, it just, his shoulders became wider.
That's actually a very good comparison, all joking aside.
It's like he went from HBK to Triple H.
That's right? A very good comparison.
So I just wanted to ask your opinion on that and see where you know, what you thought of that. I want to see, it might be a little too early for it, but I want to see, are you familiar with the lockout going on right now?
I heard about it.
Okay. Now, you're familiar with lockouts in sports, right? We've seen it in different sports and stuff. You know, one of the biggest things is, you know, players getting more rights to their, you know, better contracts, because a lot of these rookies are getting small contracts. And then what happens is these owners, instead of having to pay them the big price, they trade them, right? Or they release them and let them go off into free agency, and that's where they get the big contracts. But those first 3 or 4 years, they're getting peanuts, right? We talked about a player like Pete Alonso, for a fact. And do you think we'll have a baseball season?
I got to do some research into what's actually happening, but it's, let's see, December. The season doesn't start until, when does spring training usually start? March?
About March.
All right. So if they don't announce a season by the beginning of March, I say there's no season.
Now, as a person that works in the industry, right? I don't know how early or how late they discuss the opportunities of working for a season and stuff like that. Has there been any discussion of a possibility of a lockout season?
Well, because I know basically you're working until they tell you there's no event.
Okay, which is a fair point. And listen, you do an amazing job. I've been able to see you in action, and I'm kind of jealous because you get to catch a lot of those games, and you get to catch a lot of those concerts too.
Concerts are more enjoyable.
Well, for you, because you're not an adamant baseball fan. I think people would be walking by me with no tickets because I'd be watching the game the entire time, going, yeah, just go sit wherever you want. I'd be sitting on each other's laps at one point.
Actually, it was pretty funny. One concert I worked, I had literally like probably 2 of my body's worth of space. Like
Wow.
if I'm standing straight up, like the width of my body. Working a concert, I had basically a chair here, had a barricade here. As soon as the concert started, turned my ass around and went, all right, nobody's getting in.
That's awesome. That's very cool. So, any early predictions on the NHL of possible Stanley Cup teams?
Well, I mean, we talked about this last time, but I can give my answer again. Tampa looks good again.
Okay.
So, and you always have to be careful of them because, I mean, look what they've done going back to 2015. Like, this is almost unheard of. They're definitely in the mix. I'm still out on the jury with Toronto. West Coast.
You know, I'm upset. I thought with the way the Rangers have been playing, you would have changed your decision.
I gotta see more.
Okay. See, that's a true fan answer. I like it. I like it. That is why we're on the fan zone, because you talk the real talk. You don't just go with the glitz and the glamour and where we are in the standings. And by the way, can I just bring up a point before you go into your West Coast teams?
Yeah, go
Are
ahead.
you in some of these Ranger groups in Facebook?
I was in one and I got the hell out.
Why? I want to hear your answer first.
Okay. A quick answer. I thought Rangers Twitter was bad. Rangers Facebook is 1,000 times worse.
These fans, I don't understand.
Neither do I.
Oh my God. Igor Shesterkin can have one bad game. They want to trade him.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be yelling for King Henrik to come back. They don't even give players a chance.
No.
There'll be one bad shift by Kreider. Oh, he's old now. Get rid of him.
Yep.
Or Mika Zibanejad. He has a bad game, or he had that stretch of not being able to score. How much trade value you think he has? I know he just signed that contract, but we can get something else. Let's go after this player. Let's go after that player. Let's see if they want to trade Hughes from the Devil. I'm like, all of these things, I look at them and I'm like, this makes me hurt as a New York Ranger fan.
Okay, yeah. Because trust me, Mike, I know exactly how you feel. I was in one group. I was just in one. And there's tons. It's just the sheer stupidity.
Yes.
And I don't even know if it's ignorance, but it's, oh my God, the mind-numbing, utter befuddlement. I love that word. Utter befuddlement of just the comments made.
It's terrible.
And that's an understatement. It's just
it could be the end of the first period and we've given up one goal. And it's like, this team looks tired. They look slow. I knew this wouldn't go. And then they end up scoring the Colorado game when we lost 7-3. We were on an 8-game winning streak before that. It was bound for us to have a bad game. If you're a true fan of any sport, you know you are bound to have a bad game. There is no way, unless you're the Golden State Warriors, that you can sustain that ability for that amount of time. I'm sorry, there's no way. So for people to get so mad at them and want to blow up the team and from inside and trade everybody after one loss is mind-boggling. It's like, are you kidding me? Who are you? Are you a real fan? You know, and what I notice is it's the young fans. The young fans who are the type of fans that need instant gratification, right?
yes.
They need instant gratification. Every year, they're the type of people, the Rangers are going to win the Stanley Cup. The Jets are going to win the Super Bowl. Those type of fans, I call them delusional. I want to see progression.
Yep.
And we've seen it. I want to see us make it to the playoffs to get our feet wet, to understand that we are going in the right direction. That is how franchises are built.
Yep.
Look at other franchises. Look at Tampa Bay. Most of those players are young players. A lot of them couldn't make it in their other teams, came over to Tampa, they clicked, and they were able to win Stanley Cups. That is how you are able to win Stanley Cups, by gelling together, not saying after one game, I'm out. Get rid of this guy. Get rid of that guy. It's so tiresome. And as a fan, it makes us look bad. It makes us look bad. We're already known. Listen, New York Rangers as a fan base, we're known as the Yankees of hockey. We are, because of our payroll. We're known as the Yankees of hockey. It's always been, but it's because of the arena we play in.
Yep.
Because of yes, it is the world's greatest arena, but it also is the most expensive arena. We know that. So that we know automatically we already have that type of name attached to us. But then fans, And it's the same thing for Knicks fans. This whole bing bong. I'm a part of it. I'm obnoxious with it. The bing bong, and we won 7 games, and we were like, we're going to the championship. And look at us, we're in like 9th place right now, And I'm one of them at times, and I do it to troll, but inside I know it's not going to be sustained. But I just noticed with a lot of the fan base these days. And in the comments, let me know how you feel about this, about some of your teams. But I see there's an instant gratification. I saw it at the Nets game against the Knicks. And I said it to Manny. I said, where are the Nets fans? The only Net fans I saw at the game were the older individuals that were rocking jerseys, probably older than me. Those were the real Nets fans. Manny, being a real Nets fan, going to all these games, but that because he didn't even have to rock anything to show he was a Nets fan, because he knew everything going on. But then you have these other fans. The Knicks go on a 5-0 run. They're chanting for the Knicks, and not even for the Nets anymore. It's like they switched their jersey mid-game.
That is what we call a fake fan.
But that's what I'm saying. In all sports these days, we have this instant gratification that if a team's not doing well, people are jumping ship and not understanding the process, not understanding due process. And that's what kills me. So as a member and as a co-host of the Fan Zone, I got to say to you, delusional, instant gratification style fans, please stop. You're giving Ranger fans like myself and my man Sparacino a bad name.
Okay, I just have to say this. Like, I'm actually really glad you brought this up, because this instant gratification and all that, and like just the ability to put your opinion out there at any given second with the vast majority of social media networks. Some of the stuff I see, some of the takes, some of the opinions that I come across at times makes me legitimately hate the fan base that I'm associated with.
Thank you.
And when it dies down, I get a little bit happier. But when it ramps back up again, it's like I go back to the point where I want to just bash my head through a wall.
Yeah. See,
and certain people, you can tell, don't watch the games because they'll say something, and then you'll go back at them, and you'll go back at them saying, "What game were you watching?"
Yep.
And then it's just they'll do everything they can to try and one up you, and it's not even worth it. This is like I used to respond to people at the very beginning of getting into groups and getting on Rangers Twitter. I stopped very soon after because there's just some people that just they don't get it.
So you bring up a great point. I've made sure not to join certain Facebook groups because I just can't deal with it.
I'm telling you, Mike, one and done for me. It was one and done.
I see these certain posts that come up, and I just read them, and I'm like, I want to respond, but I know I'm going to get into an argument that nobody's going to win. Nobody's going to win. Myself, that person, nobody's going to win because of that one-sided mentality. That's why, taking off my hosting abilities and stuff like that, that's why I'm a fan of the Sports Hit List group. Because as a group, we bash every team.
Oh, yeah.
We go after everybody.
We even go after our own teams if they're playing terrible.
Exactly. But we do it in a way where we know where it's coming from, that it's a true fan base, right? We joke about Andres being a Miami Heat fan, especially when certain players don't show up. But we know he's there whether win or lose, right? Carl with the Boston Celtics, we know he's either there, win or lose. These type of fans is what makes the Sports Hit List. And that's why we've been able to develop this craft of these different shows with versatility, Senor Carl. Just throwing that out there again, just in case you didn't see my beginning. So with that in mind, Mr. Sparacino, who are your hands of the week?
Oh, crap. I didn't think about this.
It could be something good. Doesn't have to be a negative hands of the week.
Oh man, you know what? My hands of the week. I got. Can it be outside of? Actually, yeah. I'm going wrestling on this one.
Go do it. I was just gonna ask you AEW or WWE.
Oh, that's not even the hands of the week I'm going with.
Okay.
I want to give a handshake to two men in particular involved in All Elite Wrestling, CM Punk and MJF. Those two deserve a handshake and a hug because they know what the hell they are doing. CM Punk knew he was going to get booed out of the building, and he fed right into it, played the heel because that was the role for him to play that night. MJF from Long Island, the biggest heel arguably in the company, gets the biggest reaction, positive reaction.
Biggest pop. That was phenomenal.
Like Bret Hart in Canada, baby.
And did you even see he barely even fought in that battle royale.
Genius.
He just sat outside.
He was literally on the outside on the apron, pretty much hiding behind Wardlow. Oh yeah, and then gets in the ring. Unfortunately, this part was cut out because of the picture-in-picture commercial. But he literally, or at least the audio was cut out, sees two guys in the corner, gets in the ring, runs over, bang, runs right back, gets out of the ring, goes up on the turnbuckle. We're going absolutely nuts for the guy.
That's awesome.
It was just, and especially just, 9 minutes of CM Punk trashing the Islanders every other 3 minutes. Fat deserves a handshake and a hug. I mean, those two, I can't get enough of them on my television set every week.
No, you know what? And now we see you are All Elite, and which
since at least since October of 2019.
And I have to say I've been shifting more towards AEW with their programming because I just feel like it's more entertaining. You still got the value of the slapstick that WWE used to have and the banter of the mic, skills, but you have more wrestling, right? I feel like the wrestling there has been phenomenal. Just great matches. And listen, WWE, as I've said, Vince Carl Coulange as the EP of the Sports Hit List. Same thing with Vincent Kennedy McMahon. You got to start shaking things up a little.
Actually, since we brought wrestling up and you brought that up, I actually saw something where I forget which week it was exactly, but it was in the last 2 or 3 weeks. AEW had a longer singular match on one of the Dynamites. It might have been Rampage, but it was probably one of the Dynamites than SmackDown had that week combined in all of the matches. And I'm just like, that's interesting. That's very interesting because there was like 4 squash matches on the SmackDown. I hear myself echoing.
Yeah, sorry, it jumped
there was
on.
like 4 squash matches on the SmackDown.
Hold on.
Oh boy.
I hear myself echoing.
There we go.
Technical difficulties here on the Sports Hit List.
You know what it is? The Facebook jumped on when I was trying to close it out. So apologize for that, but I needed that to be broadcasted twice. How great that statement was by Mike about AEW, more technical and better matches, just like the Fan Zone and Smoke and Mirrors with our technicality and versatility. Because
I also have a lot of respect for the owner of AEW too, Tony Khan. He flat out said in a news conference, not every show is going to be good. There is going to be bad weeks. It's inevitable. You can't, because for every 3 great shows, you got to have one bad one, or at least one. What's the word I'm looking for here?
Mediocre.
Yeah, mediocre to. Yeah, that works. But like AEW in particular, they build stuff up. Sometimes they'll put a random match. Every wrestling company does it. Sometimes it'll be good. Sometimes it'll be bad. But they know how to put on good pay-per-view events, which is nice to see as a wrestling fan.
I love how we slipped in wrestling there. I could actually.
I'm actually really glad you did.
Listen,
Actually,
I'm
no,
gonna bring
I
you
did by
back
accident.
on.
Actually,
I'm gonna bring you on. I'm gonna bring you back on one of the next couple of weeks to be able to talk some wrestling, because I think we need to talk about wrestling as well. Because as you see with our versatility here at the Fan Zone, we're able to talk all sports. And I want to give my hands of the week, and my daughter wants to say hi, but I want to give my hands of the week to the New York Jets. That defense is still abysmal.
I agree.
Atrocious. You let, and I will say, Alvin Kamara, he's a phenomenal running back, but there was no shift in figuring out how to stop him from running. You let him run all over you and caused no offensive intensity. And so to the New York Jets, you have finally been eliminated this early to playoff contention.
Again.
Your season is done again. I want to see what you can do in the draft with the picks you have, because you'll have some good picks. But please look at a couple of different options. So I want to say thank you to my fill-in co-host, Michael Sparacino, who was always
We got one. We got another M. We got another
That's
M.
right. We're still M&M. But thank you, Mike, for becoming our NHL correspondent with Chuck Baldy. We'll be telling Chuck to come on soon enough to talk about his abysmal Islanders and how they've been playing recently. But I will want to say thank you, Mike. Always a pleasure having you on. You can always come on. To my boy Manny, who's watching the Nets right now. Hopefully they're already getting smoked. I don't know. I'm going to turn on in a second. But I am public enemy number one, Mike Phillips. We are the Fan Zone. Make sure to check us out on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter. Check us out on Facebook, on Instagram. Check out Smoke and Mirrors on Friday. Check out, I guess, the new show or the old show, the Sports Hit List Live on the court, broadcasting tomorrow, Wednesday at 4 p.m. Check out NFL Live at 12 p.m. And then also check out the Fan Zone every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. We are here to give you the content you need, the content you didn't know you needed, but we are here to provide it to you. Carl Coulange, I'll be sitting on my hands waiting to hear what you have to say tomorrow, as you will continue to be that one-trick pony. Have a good night, everyone.